Welcome to JewishTV.media. Today we're going to talk about dealing with missionaries. Now, I want to give you some advice. After the many years of me dealing with missionaries, I've come to learn a great deal about how to deal with missionaries. And I can tell you what to avoid. The first thing you need to avoid is getting into a debate about passages in the Jewish scriptures. Now, you might say, why? After all, isn't the scripture the basis of their belief? My answer to you is maybe surprising, but true. No, it's not. Why? Because no matter how much you are able to point out the flaws in the argument, to show how the scripture has either been wrenched out of context or completely misapplied or twisted, the missionary will always say, okay, fine, let's move to another passage and to another passage, and keep throwing you around from one passage to another passage. Why? Because their faith is not based on a passage. I had a similar experience when I was discussing the Messianic prophecy in Isaiah chapter 9. Now, why do I call it a Messianic prophecy? The truth of the matter is, it's speaking about Hezekiah, King Hezekiah, and about his day. But nevertheless, some of the things left in that passage of Isaiah 9 were not ultimately fulfilled. There wasn't a everlasting peace that was established with the rule of King Hezekiah. But nevertheless, I had this whole discussion about Isaiah 9 with a Christian missionary. And after 45 minutes of arguing with this missionary, and I must say this missionary actually listened to what I had to say, which is unusual, this missionary ultimately said, you know what, you're right. From this passage alone, I cannot prove anything. So let's move to another passage. And that told me everything I need to know about debating with missionaries. It's futile. Because Isaiah 9 is not the basis of their belief. Isaiah 53 is not the basis of their belief. The basis of their belief is a personal experience that they had. That is the basis, the foundation for everything else they believe. And so therefore, when they embrace the Christian message, when they embrace the tenets of Christianity, it is based on an experience, not on a passage in the Jewish scriptures. How do I know this? Very simple. Number one, as I've mentioned, because no matter how much you debate with them, they'll just jump around from one passage to another passage to another passage, never accepting defeat. And second of all, because had you gone to this missionary 1 week before they embraced Christianity and asked them whether the Bible was the guiding light for the way they lived their life, if they're honest, they'd tell you no. The fact that Deuteronomy speaks about not eating animals that have not yet been slaughtered, or not eating, in the book of Leviticus, not eating things that crawl on the ground like prawns and so on and so forth, whether they refrain from eating that because the Bible said so. If they're honest with you, they'll tell you no. And therefore, I know that the Bible is not the basis of why they believe what they believe, but rather it's a personal experience. When you understand that, you will understand how to deal with a missionary. Thank you and have a great day. Thanks for joining us at JewishTV.media.
JewishTV.media